Well, good evening, Authors Up family. How are you tonight? We welcome you into this space. We are so glad that you are with us this evening, and Victoria has already put out a welcome to everybody, and I want to say hello to them and allow them to say hello to you. Good evening to you, Miss Ruth. How are you this evening?
I am doing well. Still got the remnants of a cold, but still doing good. Still keeping on, and glad to be back.
Yeah, good. Glad that you are feeling better.
Thank
And
you.
Queen Victoria, how are you doing?
The queen is all right. I'm not gonna complain tonight. A little achy breaky, but it's gonna be all right. Pressing forward. And just again, me too. Glad to be here and see my bronze girls. Mwah, mwah.
Achy breaky. What was that? Wasn't that a song? My achy
Break
My
your
achy
heart.
breaky
Good
heart.
right
heart.
there. Yep.
I haven't heard that for a minute. Man. I haven't heard that for a minute. Well, of course, I am Andrea L. Hines, and I welcome everybody to our broadcast tonight, and we thank you for being with us. We are always in this space on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m., and we welcome all of you to join us and share the broadcast because we always have some interesting guests with us, and that's what we have going on tonight. But before we get to it, we're going to talk about our week in review, and we're going to start with Miss Ruth this time. Miss Ruth, what's up?
So, I may have mentioned that I'm a little accident prone. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
I
So
don't,
on Friday,
I don't think you ever have, but
I think I've given ample examples actually. So if I haven't said it, I certainly have shown it. No, I had. It wasn't a bad. It was. It was just an average week, like just getting through. Because I'm already on like vacation mode. I'm already Christmas.
Okay.
I'm not cooking. My husband is, but I'm already thinking, okay, got to get the towels for the kids. Got to get the beds ready. Got to get all of that. And so on Friday we ended up having work on this project. We were helping another team member and I got too busy and I was cutting boxes and slipped, scissors in my hand. The scissors normally they didn't do anything, but I did because of how I fell. I scraped my arm up against the cubicle and I was just like, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm okay."
Oh.
But the lady I was helping, she's like, "No, you're going to file a report with HR and all of that." And I was like, "What is just a scrape?" But it felt good to have somebody worry about me because she was like, "No, you're important to me. Darn it."
Oh.
So I had HR call me and she was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I was like, "It's a scrape." She's like, "Oh, okay." So I've been trying to milk it, but apparently just a small abrasion doesn't do that. So my
Oh.
arm does hurt. And honestly, I do this more than I probably should admit. Um, and there are times that I just look at my legs or my arms and I'm like, where did that boost come from? What did I
uh,
do? So if I like I said, if I haven't put it out there, I feel like I've given enough examples.
We
Um,
got you now. We got you now.
yeah. So when my next story may have more, but I mean, really, honestly, that was probably the highlight of my week. Although getting ready for the kids, don't shake your head, Victoria. It got me a little sympathy at work. How about that?
How about that? You
that's
need
good.
Sometimes that's all you need. Yeah. So
That's good.
that was my week in review.
All all right. How about you, Queen Victoria? What was
well,
what was up in the king in your queendom
oh,
last week?
the queen tide this week. This week right here. We hope you feel better though, Ruth. We do.
Thank you.
I attended my daughter's graduation on Friday.
Yay!
That was a highlight this week. My little baby, yeah. And I didn't. There's days that I thought it wasn't going to happen, and but it has happened. She's now a college graduate, and my cheeks still hurt for smiling so much.
Oh,
It's a
That's a
beautiful,
good feeling.
yeah, it was a beautiful occasion, and I just thank God, for where He's brought her, and proud mommy moment. That's all I can say. I'm just still overwhelmed. It's just it's just amazing, and I'm just grateful, very grateful.
Hmm.
Mhm, mhm. Very good.
So
Very
that was my
good.
week.
What
That
about
was
you, Andrea?
well. Let's see. I had a busy week last week. I'm having a busy time in wrapping up some things. New book is off to the printer.
Yep.
Woo! Excited about that. That is done. Um, I had an event coming up, and in one day I lost my venue and
Oh,
gained a venue and got my first venue back. And I thought, sometimes it's good just to sit still and just wait till things play out.
Oh wow.
yep.
I was
Yep.
getting ready to send out a reminder to people. And before I could get that together, I got a call and said, "Oh, we've overbooked, and very sorry, but you're out of a space." And I thought, "Oh, well, okay." So I called another place that I usually use, and they were booked. Of course, I already knew that. I said I just thought I'd try it. Within another hour, I got another call that says, "Oh, we straightened it out in the office, and you're good. You're good."
Oh
I
wow.
thought, what if I had sent something out and said, "Oh, just reminding you," and then sent something else and said, "Oh no, we're not going to do this," and then had to go back. And I thought, "Whew, okay, sometimes you just need to sit still for a bit."
Hmm.
I was doing that this evening, and I was looking at some things I have to do and saying to myself, not right now. You don't have to do that right now.
Yep.
Everything is not urgent and everything is not in the moment. And sometimes you can patiently wait on some things and let them play out the way that they need to play out. So
Yep.
that was my part for the week. And then I had breakfast with my granddaughter and some of the family for her birthday. We celebrated her birthday, and I thought, I have a grandchild older than some people are even born that I know. I
Right.
thought, whew, this is a lot.
Oh yeah. You know what? It's when you hit like Maurice and I is we have very similar. We have an emptiness. I've shared that.
Yeah.
We come home and talk about it, and it's just like the realization is so new that we're now the old people on the job, and just realizing that like you said, you have a granddaughter who's older than most. I have my baby is married and getting ready to have her first child.
Right.
Your baby got two jobs. So it's
Right.
just like, okay, when did we get old?
Right. When did that happen?
We were talking before we actually came on the air. We were talking about Dick Van Dyke, who some of you may know, some of you may not. But he was a great sitcom star. He
Yep.
he's turning 99, and he was talking about the fact that the interviewer was making a point to saying, "You have a son that's 74 years old." And he said, "Yeah, and I got another one that's 78." And I thought, "Oh, my word.
Yep.
How do I remember this man?" And he's 90
Right.
years old.
Dick
But he's
Van Dyke.
high and he's enjoying life, and that's the way I want to be when I grow up.
Yes.
Mhm.
Still
Yes.
Mhm.
enjoying life and still having a wonderful time. And good evening to you, Linda Cookson. Good evening to you, Nikayetta, New York. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and for being with us. We have a very, very special guest tonight. Good evening, Angie Cooks in South Carolina. Thank you for being with us this evening. Um, Sometimes when we have the opportunity to interview, chat with, discuss with, or just have a good afternoon with somebody, it doesn't always fit within our broadcast schedule.
Mhm.
But we are so uh, just blessed that some of these authors will take time for us and we will interview them earlier and then have an opportunity to play that interview for you during our broadcast time. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We had this gentleman come in. He has a book called "How to Coach Yourself into a Thriving Resilience at Work."
Mhm.
Interesting title, interesting book, and interesting author. And we interviewed him several weeks ago. And tonight we have an opportunity to share that interview and that discussion with you. And usually, we ask for bios, and people will send us pages and pages of wonderful things that they have done in their life. And sometimes we're able to tell you all about it, and sometimes we got to pare it down a little bit. But I love it that instead of sending a long bio talking about everything, he simply said that his purpose in life is to aspire to inspire before he expires. I don't know about you, but if I can get that done, it's going to be all right with me.
Right.
So we are now going to bring you our time that we spent with an amazing author, Simon Bailey.
All right, and we are back. Thank you, Simon, so much for joining us
Yes,
today.
absolutely.
I have to say, thank you again. We thoroughly enjoyed your book. I know that I can talk for Victoria and for Andrea. There for me, there was just so much to like about it, from the subject to the simplicity. I love simple books, to the storytelling, to the application. So for me, it wasn't just about the story, it was about the process. So if you could tell us about resilience at work.
So, first of all, Andrea, Victoria, Ruth, thank you for being amazing human beings. Thank you for this
You.
Oh,
work that you do in giving authors a platform. I know I probably speak on for all authors who have been here. Thank you for having the idea and coming together, because you believe in us and you are the wind beneath our wings. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
thank you.
you. Oh,
I
wait a
never
minute. I
had
need a
wind in these rings.
tissue. I need a tissue already.
Check's in
Thank
the
you.
mail, Simon. The check is in the mail.
Okay.
Yes.
If I was in the churches, this time to sow a seed, all right?
That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
Mic drop. Pass the plate. Yes, yes.
So the
Absolutely.
process behind resilience is what I realized in my own journey. I had been diagnosed with prostate cancer, had went through a divorce after being married for 25 years, because my then wife said, you give everybody the best of you, but you give us the rest of you.
Oh,
And I don't want the leftovers anymore. And I realized I had built a house but lost a home. I was chasing money but had no meaning. And I was pursuing power but had no purpose. And what really came to head when I was truly not operating in resilience is when my daughter came into my office one day, and I sensed she wanted to talk, but I was emotionally unavailable. And what I really began to recognize is that resilience is this ability to be self aware where you are and bounce back better instead of bitter.
Mm-hmm.
So my attorney suggested that I go and see a counselor. And no guy wants to go and talk to a counselor or a therapist named Anita that's been practicing for 40 years. And she said to me, whatever you don't deal with will eventually deal with you. And
Mm.
what I recognize, resilience is this ability to take feedback and to say, how do I grow instead of being stuck? So
Right,
that was kind of like the impetus
right,
behind this whole journey of writing the book.
right,
wow.
right, right.
Okay. So I was going to ask, are your topics born from your speaking and what you do, or did it choose you? And it sounds like it chose you.
It chose me. for
Okay.
sure.
Well, I mean, I think we are better for it. You know, honestly, having gone through the book, having, even where I'm at today, it reinforced some of the things that I needed. Um,
Mm.
Talking about that. So, and for me, the most interesting part was how you told the story, that you started off with surfing and you know, people who surfers, for lack of a better, and for me, it's just like, okay, that's not a common metaphor when it comes to resilience. You don't see that often. You have a certain picture in your head of who surfers are, but yet that's what you chose to use.
I did. I was in Solana Beach with my children, and I saw some surfers coming to the beach that day, and no, I wasn't on the beach to work on my tan, but I saw them. And so I ran over to them and I said, "What's the key to surfing?" And the surfer said, "The moment you get knocked off your surfboard, you have to pop back up. Because if
Okay.
you don't pop back up and catch the next wave, you'll be wiped out." I was like, "What?" It was like the heavens parted, the ocean opened. I was like, that's it. Because how many times have you been knocked off the surfboard of life? But it's your
Mm-hmm.
resilience that gets you back on the surfboard, and it's your brilliance that allows you to catch the next wave.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh, that is just,
Whew.
it was, yes. I said, what I wrote down, and I have notes because my memory's not too good now that you hit half a century. Um, what you use, and you use it successfully, because it flowed throughout the whole story. And not just that, but the cover, the design, the waves, the stroke, it was, it all felt intentional. It
Very
wasn't just, hey, we've got the font size 12, all this, some pages you had the large fonts, you had quotes, I mean, all of it felt
Right.
intentional.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I wanted you to have an experience with the book. It's as almost as if you have a cup of coffee or some hot tea or your favorite beverage, and you're engaging in an experience that pulls you in, not for me telling you what you need to do, but inviting you into a conversation with yourself for
Mm.
you to decide what you need to do.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I couldn't come up with the right word, but it was definitely experience. This isn't just another self-help book. It is just, it becomes part of you. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
You can't let go of the waves and stuff like that. So it was good. Um, I wanted to ask, because I went through your bibliography, and this isn't your first book. You've got Release the Brilliance, Ignite the Power of Women in Your Life. I love that. Brilliant Living, Brilliant, Releasing Leadership Brilliance. I see a theme here. So tell us a little bit about that, because again, I asked you if your topics kind of chose you. How is it that your response is this?
So, brilliance, I've been writing and talking about brilliance for the last 20 years, and we just released some proprietary research that really marries brilliance with its twin, resilience.
Mhm.
And what I discovered in our latest research, we asked working Americans, how do they define resilience? And working Americans told us resilience is problem solving, perseverance, and grit. We asked working Americans, how do they define brilliance? And they said they define brilliance as confidence, intelligence, and creativity. So when we step back and we look at John Mason, who wrote the book An Enemy Called Average, said most people are born originals, but they die copies. And what
Wow.
I've come to realize is when a person taps into their brilliance, they find their swim lane. And when they find their swim lane, they overcome the disease called CIC, comparison inferiority complex, because their brilliance is their confidence, it's their intelligence, it's their creativity. In other words, when you tap into your brilliance, you are practicing true AI, actual intelligence. And when
Wow.
you practice actual intelligence, you become the solution to a problem. You show up wherever you are, not to compete, but to complete.
Wow. Okay.
I say we don't ask him no more questions. Let him talk. Just preach the word. Come on.
No, and I have to say this I think was probably my favorite quote from the book, where you wrote, most people do not fulfill their potential. They tend to look for solutions outside themselves. But the
Yes.
source of maturity, wisdom, reflection, insight, and mindfulness for developing an evolved consciousness is within. And like I said, I I've reached the half century mark, and only now am discovering that, what I need is within me. I'm tired of trying to be like someone else. I want to be like me.
Amen.
you
Amen.
know
It's interesting you say that, Ruth. Real living, and I don't just say this because I've reached the half century mark as well, but what I've discovered in the work that I do and the people helping business, real life starts after 50. Because in your 20s, you think you know everything. In your 30s, you
Yes.
get the snot knocked out of you. In your 40s, you start to say, I need to get myself together. And by the time you hit 50, you realize I am sick and tired of trying to please people and try to be
Right.
limited and fit into a box. I'm going to show up and be my most brilliant self. And if you can't handle my directness, I am not going to turn down the temperature to please you. I got to
Yes.
be you.
Yes.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. All right, let's talk about your book a little bit. It's written, like I said, it's an experience. Part of it is parable, part of it is interactive, with the inclusion of insights, quotes, actions. So, if the cover and the design were intentional, obviously your storytelling was intentional.
Yes. So, a part of the approach to the book, as you've seen so many books over the years, what I recognize people's attention span is the length of an ant. It's like that. And if you don't capture people from the very beginning, people are moving on. So, Kendra, our designer, I approached her with the idea and I said, Kendra, I want to create a book that starts with an experience. And I gave her the whole concept, sent her a draft of the book. And the first draft she came back with, she said, and I had commissioned her to design the cover and to do the interior, and she nailed it. She got it at the core. So I said, okay, now what a lot of people don't know, we went through 10 rewrites. So by the time I got the draft for her, I was resilient at work.
Yes.
So I said we want to carry the colors throughout because psychologically and emotionally, when we see colors, colors invite us to look through our lens and to feel a certain way. And of course, if people get to the back of the book and they see that my background is Disney, that I have worked at Disney, I didn't want them to think I created a Pookie and them book. So, so the paper quality, the colors, everything was designed kind of with my Disney hat on.
Yes. All right. And you chose characters that you named Hurry, Worry, Steady, and Ready.
Yes.
And I feel that, that's all of us. It's just the moment you catch us in.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Right.
what made you choose those specifically and not say anxiety or, any other choice you could have had?
So if you remember the book years ago, Who Moved My Cheese,
Yes.
written by
Yes.
Dr. Spencer Johnson, we were
Yes.
introduced to him in Haw, Sniff, and Scurry.
Yes.
I woke up 3 o'clock in the morning one day and I said to my wife, oh my goodness, I gotta write a book. And we're gonna call the characters Hurry, Worry, Ready, and Steady. And it just flowed out of me like that. I ran down to my office and I got on my laptop. It was like pouring out of me. And what I've come to realize, and I'm sure that being as discerning as all of you are, at some level in my own journey, I've been in a hurry. I've been dismissive. I haven't taken the time to say good morning, how are you? Or to
Right.
just acknowledge another human being because I'm just caught up in my stuff, right?
Yes.
And then there have been times when I've been worried. We did the research, and 48% of working Americans are worried about the future. So every single day, you have people show up and they're dealing with life And
Right.
worry is there. But then there is steady and ready who have been to hell and back. And they become the mirror for hurry and worry to think about how do they thrive instead of survive.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. Right.
Very good. Very good. Andrea, what questions you got?
I love this. I
Absolutely.
love
Don't
this
ask me
book.
nothing. Y'all just keep going.
I love the way that it looks.
Yeah.
I love the way that you have laid it out with the insights, with the quotes. And I'm listening to you, and it's funny because Ruth was talking about taking notes. I can't take notes in this book. There are too many nuggets.
Wow.
There's just too many of. I'm sitting here now listening resilience and brilliance and power without purpose and just bitter and better. I write poetry. I have a poem entitled "Better Not Bitter." I have another writing called "The Comparison Trap," and I'm thinking, man, this man is like in my head. So many things that you are touching on enter into that space that we call life in. You know, the kids always say life be life in,
Yeah.
you know, and that's what this is. It is a breakdown of how life is life in. And there's not one corner that I read or that I saw that I couldn't sit back and say, oh yeah, geez, yeah, that right there, that right there, and then you turn the page because you think that's all resolved, and then you go, oh well, yeah, that part right over there, you know, that is it. So you've managed to capture the things that and I hate to say struggle, but struggle with the most that we embrace most often, that we have to navigate through most often. And the way that the book is laid out, like you said, and like Ruth was mentioning, the fact that it's all intentional, um, the color scheme, just the way that it's all worked out. So it's not just about reading it; it's about sensing and feeling all of those things that
Yes.
did I get it? Did I get it?
My work is done. My work is done. Yes. Yes.
I looked at that and I thought I kind of laughed because we asked for your bio, and your bio says Simon T. Bailey aspires to inspire before he expires. And I thought, man, this man has just got it laid out. Just got it laid out. Explicit, simple, to the point, powerful, purposeful. I think we can just take all of those words and tell you that that truly is what you've created with this book. I think it is. I think it is amazing. It was a joyful read. It was not just a read that gave me some information or that let me know that I wasn't out here by myself. And, you know, I wasn't totally off my rocker with the things that we think and feel sometimes, because you can't get that way when life is life. But you have covered a myriad of experiences that we all feel,
Wow.
that we don't always know how to get past.
Wow. Well, my whole goal was to hug people with my words. And I'm so happy to hear that all of you have felt hugged with the words that we wrote in the book.
That's definitely a good way to put it.
Yes.
Definitely a good way to put it.
If that's what you set out to do, sir, you did it. You did. And I really, that, while the concept of hurry and worry may have, and steady and the other character,
Right.
while that may have come to you in an instant, in a flash, when you're saying there were 10 rewrites, that shows me the intentionality of understanding in order for this to have the impact you wanted it to have, it had to be a certain way and not just through the words,
Yes.
and a testimony to the fact that you can do a powerful piece of work without it looking like War and Peace.
Right.
Wow.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
It
Amen.
doesn't have to be 100,000 pages and words and all of that. You've just done an amazing job. And I know there is something that Victoria wants to say, because she says these three words.
Oh, all the time.
Okay,
But
you want to say them now?
but today I really mean it. And I was going to say,
She
oftentimes I
really means
say
it.
this.
I didn't mean it before, baby. I was just saying it to be saying it. I mean it now.
What I meant to say was the intentionality behind it. I'm going to say it with my whole chest today. Get the book. Get the book.
Get the book. Get the book.
Get the
Thank
book.
you.
Get the book.
Thank you.
This is one that's going to go on my shelf. For real. For real.
Wow. Love it.
Get the book.
It just I some books just hit you a different way, and
Yes.
we've been fortunate enough to have authors on who have brought us life or given us life in very different ways, and it's unusual sometimes to have a book that encompasses as many elements, I think, as you have. Sometimes you're just drawn in by the cover, but what's in between the covers, it's not what you hoped it would be, or you almost missed it because the cover was not what it looked like it would be. so for us, in creating a forum for authors by authors, we are very, very excited when we see a book like yours.
Wow.
that covers as many experiences in as many different ways, and it really is, guys, whoever's listening, whoever's watching, whoever's got the podcast, whatever, get the book. We don't always follow Victoria's instructions. That's one.
That is true.
That is one that we always follow. She said, get the book, get the book. And I hope many people will, because they're going to be blessed by it, Simon. I think it's,
Wow.
I think
So
it's an
kind.
amazing work.
That is so kind. As you know, when you write a book, you go all in and you spend a lot of money. It's a major investment. And this was an investment of love to just meet people along life's journey. And through serendipity, we've been connected. And I'm so honored to be here today to serve all of your listeners.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for making the time to do that, because I know it's going to make a difference for a lot of people and in a lot of people's lives. And that's a pleasure for us to be a part of. So thank you so much for that. Victoria, you got something else for Simon?
You took my tagline, and both of you took things that I would have said had I talked first. I did not.
That's Queen Victoria, Simon. We didn't even introduce her properly today. This is Queen Victoria. We apologize.
I liked the format. I liked how I didn't, to be honest, and if full transparency, because you've been transparent with us from the beginning as well. I didn't need to take the test, the self-test of do I identify with hurry and worry. I said I don't need to take them tests because I see myself. And I find I think I'm ready and steady too. You didn't have any tests for those two. And I think that is my question, though. With the book being as complete as we think it is, and with you having 10 revisions, is there a part 2? Is there another book in the works similar to this one?
Yeah, there's another book that I'm already working on, that because after I wrote this one, I got hit with another one that just absolutely floored me because it's what I really believe the world needs right now.
Wow.
Mm,
And so I'm in the process of writing that book right now.
awesome.
Ooh, we can't get a little peek about that one. I noticed you just stopped right there.
Yeah, I'll give you just a little snippet. Some of the research out, and I would encourage everyone to read an article written by David Brooks, an op-ed article in the New York Times in October 2022. And the article was entitled "The Rising Tide of Global Sadness." And
Mm,
what he says in the article is, if you went back 50 years ago and looked at all of the major headlines, what for the most part were positive in nature. 50 years later, headlines from all over the world, negative.
mhm,
If you
mhm.
went back 50 years ago and looked at all of the top pop songs that were out, R&B, soul songs that were out, love, happiness, joy. 50 years later, you look at the top pop songs, sadness. And
Right.
so his central theme in the article is the emotional health of the world is shattering little by little because some people are doing worse off now than they were before. And I looked at that and I said, you know what? No matter where we show up in life, if we are going into a public place and there's a door to open, what would it be like to open the door for the person coming in behind us? To
Wow.
say good morning, good afternoon to people that are within 5 feet of us,
Yeah.
because everybody is dealing with something. So,
Yes.
how do we get back to understanding how to be a human being instead of a human doing? And
Come
it's
on.
that human being where I see you, Ruth. I see you, Victoria. I see
Yeah.
you, Andrea. And the pigmentation of our skin might be different, but you're a human being, and I need you, and you need me, even if
Yeah.
it's just for a moment, for you to
Right.
say, "How are you? How can
Mhm,
I serve you? You look
Mhm.
nice today. Don't tear me down. Hug me with your words."
Wow.
mm. I
Wow.
love
Get that one done real soon.
it.
Yes, yes.
Tomorrow.
Much, much, I'm saying it in a funny way, but the state of where we are right
Yes.
now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and right at the edge of this election, and just I thought the other day, I don't we were talking about it, as a matter of fact, right before we came on, I can't
Mhm.
take another text. I don't want another text. I can't, I just can't take
Another email, another phone
no
call.
more emails, no more phone calls, none of
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
I much rather spend my time being a human being. So if you've got something that's gonna help that too, pass the
Okay.
collection plate, Queen
Come
Victoria.
on. Come on. Let's
Yeah,
go. Let's
yeah,
go. Because I'm tired. And,
yeah.
and it's at this point, regardless who wins, the world is shifting a little bit, and we all
Yeah.
need that reminder of positivity, of love, of acceptance. We need that right now. So I agree with Andrea on that one. Well, we know that if we go on Amazon, wherever books are sold, we're going to see Simon T. Bailey's name somewhere pop up in some search engine. We're going to find you. But if our listeners and our viewers would like to reach out to you to hear more words of wisdom, because I tell you, I could listen to you another 30 minutes and just be quiet.
Oh, wow.
Because you
I
are
love that. Hug us
intelligent.
with your words. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, you are intelligent. You do your research and you're talking from knowledge. And I love that. I love to just sit at your feet and
Wow.
listen to you talk. So I thank you for being. But if someone wants to get in touch with you or have some questions, where can they find you?
Yes, they can go to simontbailey.com. T for terrific, simontbailey.com.
Yes, that's it.
You know, I had to slip it in there.
No.
Boom.
Great. Thank you so much. You
Yes.
guys, we said it before, we're gonna say it again. Get the book. This book will absolutely change your life.
Wow. So kind. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we're at a point where I'm not quite sure what we are doing, but I think we're going to close out with you, and then Ruth has got some other information for our listeners and our viewers. Is that right?
No, that's not correct. And I'm going to edit all this part out.
Oh,
That's
smart lady, smart lady.
No, Simon, we do want to ask if there's anything you want to leave with our listeners.
Wherever you are right now, just remember that you are seen, you're valued, you are understood. In the words of one of my favorite movies, you is love, you is kind, and you's important.
I love it. All right. Can't top that. So
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you
We
so much,
appreciate you.
Simon.
And I think I speak for all the ladies. Would you come back?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
30 minutes is not long enough.
It was just a little snackable. Just a little
Okay, just a little snack.
That's it.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I
Yes,
was back
and
there smiling and laughing.
I want to say I spent like an hour yesterday editing that out, and then I grabbed the wrong file when I got ready. So
Then
I
it
loved
was
it
meant to
though.
show.
I think
It was meant to show.
fit. Yes, I think it worked out perfectly. So because I think it fit in with everything else, and you know what? We got lots of bloopers on this show. You just got to see one of them for sure.
That's okay. And when I think it went right in with what Mr. Bailey was talking about, being your authentic
Mhm.
self. So that was authentically us.
Yep.
Well, I
But
wanted
now
to
go ahead.
go ahead, Ruth.
No, I was just gonna say I was gonna share what you were alluding to, but finish your thought first, and then I will close with
No,
that.
no. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, we love having you guys on. We love that you guys tune in. Follow us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Search for Authors Up Show. Catch us on replay on Facebook at Saturday at 7 p.m. The show will be uploaded on YouTube and podcast midweek. Email us at authorsup@gmail.com with the questions if you're interested in becoming a guest. That's it.
You always do that so fluidly. I love it.
I got it down to a science. So
Yeah, you do.
And I
Yeah.
just want to echo the fact that we are very, very happy for everyone who joins us, whether you are
Mhm.
listening and whether you are viewing. And thank you for being with us, Samuel Livingstone. I think I saw that name pop up. We're glad to have you always. Simon Bailey's book was just chock full of
Yes.
little nuggets and
Yeah.
one-liners and things to remember. But I did want to mention this about him, that he's got lots of years of experience with personal development, and part of that was spent with being sales director of our friend Walt Disney down there, of the Disney Institute.
Yes.
And when we think of our guests, we're so blessed, because he told us in there's a snippet, and it is a part of the book, when he says that there's 3 of the courses that he and his team have developed have served over 250,000 students in
Mhm.
more than 100 companies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So sometimes we have to just really take that gratitude to another level, that we are having the ability to meet and to bring to you people who have just worldwide and global impact with the things that they have written. And I wanted to be sure to mention that tonight. He's a great person,
He
and
was so
Mhm.
down to earth
to
too.
talk to. Yeah, yeah, really, really, really a nice man. And can't wait to have him back again and see what else he's got for us. I know it will be, as his one of his favorite words happens to be, brilliant. I'm sure
Exactly.
it will be brilliant. And that's all we have for tonight. Victoria, did you have anything else that you wanted to share in
No, I
closing?
love y'all as always, and as we say, this is the best place to be on Sunday night, and tonight's show proved once again that is very true. I love you guys.
Absolutely.
Indeed, indeed. So get the book. That's what Queen Victoria said. Be obedient, get the book. You'll be glad. That is for sure. And that is it for us for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here at Authors Up. And like we always say, I hope you'll put us on your calendar. And I hope that this will become your favorite place to be on Sunday evenings, like it has become ours. So that is it for us for tonight. Come on back next week. Got something special planned. I tell you what, you don't want to miss these last two shows of the year. Is that right? We only have two more shows in
That's
2024.
it.
It's out of
That's
here.
it.
We'll
Yep.
be going into a brand new year. So you don't want
Wow.
to miss these last two shows. Share it with a friend, with a neighbor, with someone you like, and somebody that you would want to see inspired and encouraged.
Yes,
And you'll be
indeed.
glad that you did. That is it. That is it. See you next week, hopefully. Good night, ladies, because
Good
Good night.
night.
you never know what's going to happen on Authors Up. So you got to come back. That's all I can tell you. You got to come
Yep.
back. Have a good evening and a great week, everybody. See you next Sunday.
All right. Good night.